Good morning, Willow class. So for today's maths, we're going to move on to looking at angles and angles where they meet at a point, where they meet at a straight line or where they are opposite. So you can see that on the board, I have got some drawings. These drawings just link to the objective, so I've just labelled them to make them clearer. So angles where they meet at a point, this is A, okay, which is here. So this is the point in the middle and all of the lines meet at that central point. So if I was to look at all of the points, they would go around in a full circle, okay? And we have done this before, and we actually know angles that meet at a point like that equal, can anybody remember? Hopefully you've remembered that it equals 360 degrees, which is a full turn, okay? And don't forget, that's our little symbol for degrees. Then when we move on to B, this is angles on a straight line. So this is my straight line, and all of these angles meet here. So my straight line starts from here and goes all the way over to here. So it's not a full turn, it's only half of a turn. So it's half of this. So angles at a straight line don't equal 360, they equal 180, which is half of the full turn, half of 360, okay? Then when we've got C, we've got angles that are opposite. So then with this one, it does look the same as this. It looks similar even, because it comes to a point here. So if we started here and went all the way around, it would equal 360 degrees, which is, as we already know, angles at a point equal that. However, when we continue to look at it, I've called this C, and that's because the angles are vertically opposite. So if they have been crossed like this, they are opposite here. Okay, these aren't the same, these aren't opposite because that's a straight line, but this one isn't a straight line that comes down, therefore it's not classed as vertically opposite. This one, you can see that all I basically did to create this angle was get my line and another line and form a cross. Okay, my cross could look like that, or it could look like that. It could look like anything as long as it's two lines as opposed to this one, which is 1, 2, and then 3, okay? So these that are opposite are the same. So the rule we need to remember for this is that angles that are vertically opposite are equal. So this angle and this angle are the same, and this angle and this angle are the same. That's why I've coloured it red and then purple, because they equal the same number. Okay, so we're going to have a quick look at this, and we've just said that angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. And you can see here that I have got angles on a straight line. So this is my straight line, and if I started from here and I did a half turn and went all the way around here, it would equal 180 degrees. If this little bit equals 120, so I've got 180 as a total, and I am getting rid of this 120 to give me the angle of y. So the calculation that I need to do is 180 degrees minus 120 degrees, okay? Then you very quickly work out the answer to that, and that will give you this answer, okay? Off you go. Okay, so all I've done here is I've worked it out 180, which is this total, and I'm getting rid of this little bit here. So 180 minus 120 degrees gives me 60. Therefore, angle y equals 60 degrees. Now, how can I check that I am right? If this equals 60 degrees and this equals 120, what can I do to make sure that this and this add up to the total of 180? Well, quite simply, I could do the size of this angle add the size of this angle. If it comes in at 170 or 200 or something other than 180, then I know I must have gone wrong. If it is bang on 180, then I know I must be right. Okay, so what I'd like you guys to do now is to have a look at the one below. This is slightly different because I've got a straight line still, but instead of it just being split into the 1 and 2 angles, I've now got 1, 2, 3 angles. So again, this line from here all the way around, it still equals 180 degrees, okay? However, you can see that on the left-hand side here, I have got 60-degree angle, okay? So from here to here is 60 degrees. And then here, I've got like a weird, it's not like an arch like I'd normally have. It's actually a point here. So what does that tell me about this angle? That tells me that this angle is a right angle, okay? And what does a right angle add up to? RA stands for right angle. What does a right angle add up to? Well, we know that that's like the corner of a square, isn't it? And that is 90 degrees. Okay, so well done if you remember that the right angle is 90 degrees. So if this is 90 and this is 60, then I've got from 60, add 90, so from here 60, I can count up 90, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150. So from here all the way round to here, I have got 150. So if that is 150, I'm going to write it in red so you can see. 150 in total on both of those angles. Then what is this tiny little bit here, which I've called A? So 150, well, we know that we have to take it away from, what did we say? Angles on a straight line add up to 180, and I need to take away that 150 that I've calculated. Very quickly, off you go and do that for me. Okie dokie, so hopefully you've very quickly just done that and your answer would have been 30 degrees. What would have happened if I'd have got the answer 20 and moved on to the next question? Well, actually, I would have, got it wrong and I would have corrected you, but I would have also then checked 150 add 20 only gives me 170, not 180. So just keep that at the back of your mind. Okay, we're going to move on to different shapes now. You can see here, and first of all, you're like, oh gosh, that looks scary. It looks like I don't even know where to start. However, the way to do this is by recognising key facts. So I've asked you here to work out angle A, okay? So, angle B, and this is angle B. Now, the key facts are the things that we know in order to work this out. So first of all, I need to know, well, this is a triangle, and I know that the angles in a triangle equal 180 degrees, don't I? Okay, so I'm just I struggle to get my degree symbol on this document. So I've just got 180 degrees. I know that opposite angles are what? What did we say? Opposite angles are the same. So I'm underlining that because that's really important. You can see here that these cross, so these are opposite. And then we've got another one, angles at a point equal 360 degrees, okay, which I'm going to need in a little while, not quite just yet. So my question to you is, what is the size of angle B? Okay, let's start to work through this together. And we start to work through our key facts. We've recognised some things that we might need in order to help us. So if this is 60 degrees, what is this going to be? Well, it's directly opposite, so therefore I know that that must also equal 60 degrees because it's vertically opposite. Okay? What about this one here? This is 80, and that is directly opposite on the cross. This is our cross, don't forget here. Okay, so it's directly opposite here. So again, because it's vertically opposite, that one is also going to equal 80 now. So I've got 80 degrees on this corner and 60 degrees on that corner. And my rule said angles in a triangle equal 180. So I've got 1, 2, 3 corners that should equal 180. So I need to do the calculation 180, which is the total of these angles, 180, and I'm going to take away what I know. I know this is 60 and I know that this is 80. So I'm going to take away 60 and 80. We know that it doesn't matter which way I do it as long as I get the right answer. So 180 take away 80 leaves me with 100. 100 take away 60 leaves me with 40. So does that mean angle B equals 40 degrees? Well, let's see. If I put 40 degrees in there, how can I test it? What can I do? Let me just put the degrees on before I forget, because we always need the units of measure. What can I do to make sure that this answer is correct? Well, I could do 40, add 80, add 60. And what should it equal? 40, add 60, add 80. It should equal 180. Let's just double check. 40 add 60 is 100 and 100 add 80 is, well done, 180. So I must be correct. Okay, before we move on to the next slide, as a little bit of a challenge, I'd like you to pause the video, please, and tell me what this angle is. I'm going to call this angle C. And that's because, no, I'm not, because you struggled to see C. I'm going to call it angle D, okay? Don't forget, angle D is directly opposite this. We have done this before, it's just, when we do it, I would do it, let me blank it off so you can see. When we do this, I do it, oh no, not like that. Let's see, make it, cover it. Oh, I can't. Never mind. I would just do this part of it. I wouldn't have it as part of the shape. So we know that this is 60 and this is 60, and the angles as a total in a point add up to 360. So quickly, can you pause the video and work it out for me? Okay, so this is where you need this fact. Angles at a point equal 360. So I am going to do my angles at a point, which is 360, and I'm going to take away what I already know, 60 and 60. Okay? Then, what else, what am I left with? Because what I'm left with is these two angles. So 360, take away 60 gives me 300. Take away another 60 gives me 240. Okay? So this and this equals 240. Now, if they are the same, they are equal, what can I do to that 240? Well, we know that I can do 240 divided by 2, and that will give me the answer. So half of 240, you should have got the answer 120, and therefore angle D should equal 120 degrees. Okay, so well done if you got that correct. Okay, so your activities are actually posted below and they're very similar to this. Red group, you have got angles on a straight line, and you need to remember the key fact that angles on a straight line equal 180. Okay. Just after you do finish your work, I want you to have a look at this challenge. It's got a picture on the board and it says, Danny thinks the angle I is 79 degrees. First of all, is he correct? Yes or no? And then I want you to prove your answer. Not yesterday, sorry, last week some people did this and they said, yeah, he's right. They did something similar. They said, yeah, they're correct. And then they proved it and they were like, oh no, I've just proved that he's wrong. So that's why I always say prove it, because I love it when you actually get it wrong. It's good practice for you. So is that 79 degrees, yes or no? And prove it for me, okay? Don't forget that on this picture, this is a straight line. So from here all the way to here, we know what that equals. It's 180. Okay, good luck with your learning today. And don't forget these key points on this final slide. Pause it on here if you need it to, if you need this slide to help you with your work. Good luck, everybody.